Hey, what's up? This is Steve Cardenas, aka Rocky the Red Power Ranger, and Jeff Barrazzo, Trent Fernandez Mercer from Battle Thunder, and you are watching Team Venom Media.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the latest episode of Team Venom's Power Ranger podcast. I'm your co-host, Rory Bailey, joined by my co-host, Paul Baker, and a very, very, very special guest in Bruce Heinsius. Did I say that right, Bruce? I got it wrong that time, didn't I? Sorry.
No, it's like Heinsius.
Heinsius, sorry.
It sounds like it's a tough
And
one.
for our listeners and viewers and such, Bruce, you were the main photographer for Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, which is awesome. So how did you get that job?
I was in the right place at the right time. And I wasn't just the main photographer, I was the photographer the first season. Nobody else was supposed to be taking pictures. I got the job by being on another movie where the producer who took the idea to Saban Entertainment is Ronnie Hadar. And he came up with the idea of bringing a Super Sentai show to America and making our own version. So photos like to work on a children's superhero show. And it was a no-brainer for me to say, of course I would, because I love that stuff. I was brought up on Godzilla and robot type stuff and anime. So it was a perfect environment and it's a perfect situation for me.
Nice.
So in preparation for the show, I tried to find a little backstory on you. You are pretty hard to find info on. So why don't you tell us where you started? Give us the lowdown, big guy.
Big guy, oh no, my 6'4" brother-in-law, he calls me big guy, and my sister gets on him for that, so be careful. Anyway, yeah, I've been taking pictures a long time, and since the early 90s, I started taking pictures on movie sets, and Power Rangers was pretty much in the early part of it, and I really enjoyed working on martial art shows and stuff because I love photographing action, and having the superhero element and the giant robots and monsters was, oh, just heaven for me. And I continue that. Just fun stuff. My favorite stuff is doing cosplay photography because a lot of times it incorporates martial arts and superheroes, and I like putting what I've learned on the movie sets and doing action photography into my cosplay. So I have them run and twirl and jump and get them while they're moving. And not many people are used to that for photographs, but you know, they're used to holding still and looking at the camera. But I like to break them from that. I like to say, hey, look over where you're pointing your weapon or something and move. And you know, it creates a whole different effect. So I don't know, I kind of went off on a tangent there a bit, but from what you actually asked, right?
Hey, it's all good, man. You can talk the whole time. I'm good.
Well, here's some of my, these are the things I grew up on. Giant
nice.
robot and tested $20. And of course, if you want to say big guy, it goes to this one.
Oh, nice.
Godzilla.
Oh, that's a badass Godzilla right there,
yeah.
dude.
Yeah, this one looks so authentic from the movie. So I like taking pictures of these and making it look like scenes from a
Kind of like stop frame animation based.
no, I take photos mostly, and then I put them in an environment and do all this processing to make it look something like a movie, like a shot from a movie. Yeah, putting my cinematic eye there. And by the way, I wanted to add that I'm wearing these colors on purpose, because before we started this show, recording, I was mentioning that today is Thuy Trang, Trini, her anniversary of her death 23 years ago. And so I honor her. Oh, there she is, yes. We're her honor on Jason David Frank, whose birthday's tomorrow. So yeah, it's quite unfortunate that they had to leave us so young.
Now we know why Green Day always said, "Wake me up when September ends," because this month stops.
Yeah, I heard you have your own personal reasons, and I've got mine that sometimes it coincides with a date that isn't too favorable for us to remember and associate. But you know, it does give us, or I really appreciate life, and I wear my seatbelt in Thuy's honor every time. I mean, I always was pretty good about it, but I became religious wearing my seatbelt because she apparently not wearing her seatbelt.
Damn.
Yeah.
Do you have like a
So do you
favorite
have any-
story about Thuy that you want to share with us?
Well, one of them is she was very enthusiastic. She really loved looking at photos that I took. And when I came with a set of slides, she would say, "Hey, do you have any new photos?" And I made a joke that might not be taken so well these days, but did you ask for nude photos? And she goes, no. I said, no. I go, well, then try saying recent, and then I can't mess up there. But she seemed to take it well. Yeah, of course. Yeah, I weigh my audience, and she was pretty cool about it. So, but yeah, I bonded with her and maintained a friendship after the show, and we got together. We did. Sometimes she'd call upon me to do like an actor's reel shoot for her. She invited me to her pilot episode called Tracy, The Adventures of Tracy Z. Had you heard about that?
No,
She was in development to get a pilot made, which she did, which was kind of along the lines of Power Rangers and not superhero really, but she played a college, majoring in reporting the news. So she was like an anchor, a field reporter, and she'd get mixed up in some crimes and stuff that she would actually end up using her martial arts to solve. So she hired me as a still photographer, and I haven't been able to find any pictures from that, but she also was in The Crow Part 2, and she not hired me. She asked me to show up for, just before the movie came out, there was a pickup shoot. They needed some close-ups of her. And so she got in her Crow makeup where she was playing a very dark, evil character, which is so opposite of what she played in Power Rangers. And so she asked me to take pictures, and I took a lot of nice photos of her, sometimes looking at my lens or just, catching the moment. And let's see, we also did a photo shoot at my studio at my home where she got to bring a lot of different looks. I got a makeup artist, a hairstylist, a wardrobe person. So even though it was just a fun shoot, we did a lot of like maybe 5 or 6 different looks for Thuy. And that was about 1.5 years before she was 25 at the time. And yeah, I got some really good photos, including one with me next to her. Like, yeah. So anyway, go ahead and steer me in some directions you like.
Fair enough. No, that was great to hear. It's always great to hear those sorts of stories. And from conversations that we've had in Messenger prior to this, it's obvious that you're still close with a few of the cast and crew. you mentioned that you'd watched our episode with Mark the other week and such. Who else do you still speak to from the show, and do you attend any of the conventions and such with them? Or anything
Well,
like that?
mostly it's a Power Morphicon that's usually in Pasadena, and it's usually every 2 years. That's basically when I see them. And I do have ways of contacting them through either phone numbers or Facebook or something. And I have a documentary that I originally shot on the set in 1993, because Ronnie Hadar, the producer, asked me, "Hey, Bruce, can you bring a video camera and shoot, some stuff?" And so I started doing that the last 2 months of the 7-month shoot. And from that, I incorporated B-roll moments of them hamming it up into the camera or rehearsing or shooting. So it's a mixture of all of the above. So it really gives, this documentary has a real nice flavor of what the tone was on the set. So about 20 or so years later, I talked to these people at the Morphicon, and I said, would you be in my documentary? I'd like to interview you and get some reminiscing of what it was like in the beginning. So I had several of them come to my house. I got Austin St. John at Power Morphicon, and even though he had a big line of people waiting for him to sign autographs, he patiently gave me a great interview for my documentary, very heartfelt. And they all did. I got David Yost, I got Walter Jones, I got Paul Schreier. He likes to be called Paulie now. And Jason Narby couldn't quite make it, but Paul arranged him to be on the phone in a Zoom kind of meeting, so they both could interact.
Oh, nice.
But I still need to get a few more questions from Jason Narby, who played Skull, of course. And because Paul didn't want to share the whole interview, so he hung up on him. So I got to get them. And Amy Jo, she's been elusive, but I might still be able to get her. I was trying to get Jason David Frank, but I wasn't successful in making that happen. But it is what it is, and it's pretty special. And the unfortunate thing is I can't really show it like on the internet. I can't. It's kind of an intellectual property issue where I have to protect it. My agreement with Ronnie Hadar, is that I best not show it where it can just be lifted. And so unfortunately, I can only show this video, which I have 2 different documentaries, one without the talking heads and one with the wonderful interviews. So I show it live. If people request it, I could bring it over, or they can fly me somewhere and we can show it live. I show it at the Power Morphicon at my table, and also hopefully to a big audience, which I've done a couple times. And I just have to make sure nobody's recording it. So
I'd definitely be interested.
Yeah.
Seeing this type, I don't know if you're gonna call it episode or recording. And I was wondering, was that you behind the video camera, or was it just somebody else just filming randomly? You got JDF, Amy Jo.
okay, that sounds like the stuntman. Shoot, what's his name? I'm drawing a blank because I'm 60, so I'm having one of those senior moments. Jeff Pruitt. Yay! He's an amazing. He and his, I think, wife, Sophia, who was the Yellow Ranger, and quite a few other, probably the Pink Ranger as well. Anyway, Jeff Pruitt, he brought his camera, and he was there seasons after me. Not while I was there, but he got some footage, and he's been playing it without, he doesn't necessarily have the same restrictions I have, or maybe, I made an agreement with Ronnie that I would protect it. So he may not have the same situation. But yeah, that's probably what you're looking at, is Jeff Pruitt's behind the scenes video.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go back and rewatch it because if you weren't behind the camera, that means you're probably in front of the camera at one point or another. So I'll
Well,
pull
yeah.
some screen grabs for you and send them over to you.
Well, again, Pruitt was there on seasons that I was not. I was only there the original season. So unfortunately, yeah, my being in front of the camera is very, very minimal. I do have a few moments where I was in front of the camera during my video, but very rare. Like if there was a mirror, I'd go, "Hey, look, I can be in the video." Hey. And Ronnie Hadar grabbed the camera from me for a moment, and he took a video of me helping the Thuy and Amy Jo pick out some wardrobe for a photo shoot I was doing with them, where they had to pose on the Kaiser machine equipment in the youth center that the Kaiser company loaned us their equipment. So all that stuff that makes it look like a gym was, so all they asked was, can you take some pictures of the actors using the equipment? So I did that, and they got some 8x10s of it. And during that moment before we shot, I went in there and tried to help them choose what to wear for those pictures. And Ronnie got me, and I posted that on my Facebook. So you could see.
I've seen that.
The Pink Ranger on one side and yeah, Yellow Ranger on the other.
Well, one of the things that I think is pretty cool is I can see behind you, you've got the poster for the collector's cards and things like that. When I was younger, I had the cards, I had the stickers, I used to have the hardback annuals that were all just full of your work. Have you got many of those yourself?
Well, I got two of the exact same one here.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, this is a folder for school. And then they have books and trading cards.
Oh, wow. Yeah. I had loads of those. Still got them somewhere.
Yeah, this one's a metallic one. That's really cool.
Nice.
So, yeah.
I only have one card left, and it's in a hard plastic back here in the case somewhere.
And they made pogs.
Yep. Wait, where's the green one? There's the Tommy one. I got that one.
Yeah.
Yep, that's one. I got it.
It looks like the same outfit that he wore in Green with Evil, I think.
Or every other episode.
Oh, well, no, this particular one, I think specific, maybe. I don't know. But I'm impressed that I can remember a lot of stuff from back then, like the name of the dumpsters. Here you go.
Very well. This is another one.
Yeah,
I
I can see that. Yeah, that's one of the ones I posted in Facebook recently, next to when he's doing the can you see it? Yeah, that one.
Yep.
That's the same pose, the back stance with the knife hand defense. And so I posted those two pictures together in Facebook, and it's got over 1,800 views already on Jason David Frank's Facebook page. So that's pretty remarkable.
Yeah. And it's got to be pretty cool to see your work like that's been seen by so many millions of people around the world. Because I say, those stickers, the cards, everything, they were really massively collectible at the time. Well, also now because of the vintage factor on them and stuff. But yeah, that's got to feel great seeing your work everywhere.
It does. I've done a lot of independent projects and stuff, and this show is probably the most known show that I've worked on.
Yeah.
And so it's really neat that it started out. We didn't know it was going to become a phenomenon. Some people claim they knew it, but it's just grown, and it was neat to be there in the beginning before they were famous and see how they change. It's really neat.
They have for Once and Always?
In a way, they did. They contacted me and said, we'd like to get some pictures of Thuy Trang and Jason David Frank to commemorate their unfortunate deaths. So they used several, like maybe 6 or so pictures of Thuy as a shrine for her in the home that her character lives in, that her surviving daughter and Walter Zach, they both look at it within some scenes. So my pictures are seen there. And at the end, just before the credits roll, they did a in memory of. So both the pictures of Thuy Trang and Jason David Frank are pictures they purchased from me. So that was quite neat and quite an honor and quite unfortunate as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but it was really neat to be a part of it in some form. It would be great if they could bring me over there, you know, bring me over to New Zealand and put what I've.
Well, they're not doing that no more.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
said.
that's what I'm hearing. That it's coming to an end. No more new episodes after, what is it, Wild Force or what is it? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's coming to an end completely or they're just not filming in New Zealand anymore. I don't know.
Oh, we'll keep paying attention and see what happens. So aside from the Power Rangers, I also worked on the WMAC Masters.
Oh, wow.
So that's the guy who played Liu Kang in the Mortal Kombat video game. Again, I put myself on the spot that time.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so action. I love action.
That's awesome.
So I got hired to go to Florida and take pictures on the set for a couple weeks. And many of the people from Power Rangers, the stunt guys, were hired to be in front of the camera, including showing their faces, like Eric Betts, Ian Nguyen, or it's pronounced Nguyen, and Richard Boggs, who unfortunately also passed away. And who else am I forgetting? Oh, Isaac Florentine was the fight choreographer for Power Rangers the first season, along with John Barrett. And Isaac Florentine, he directs a lot of martial art films, and he directed a lot of the WMAC Masters. So let's put a little shout out to those talented people.
Nice.
You have any upcoming projects?
Let me think. I haven't been doing movie stuff a whole lot. The last project I did was supposed to be a period piece that was supposed to be in China from decades and decades of time going through the movie. But we used all Los Angeles locations like Huntington Library and the Asian Museum in Pasadena. But yeah, it worked. And it was called Firefly Dragon. I'm not going to get it right on the spot, but it's great. It should be a neat project. And I got to use some new technology that I didn't get to use on Power Rangers and all those other movies, which is a mirrorless camera. And this mirrorless camera has a lot of huge advantages, because for one thing, you can make it take pictures without any clicking noises. So before, I had to put my camera, a regular camera. Some people think this is a camera by itself, but it's just a box to make the camera quiet enough to snap photos. So I had to use this for decades. I put my camera in there, and it's hard to see because the camera is far from my eye. And
I bet.
so, and you can't see the picture right away. And when I had film, couldn't anyway. But I didn't have to use this. And I ended up shooting like between 2,000 to 5,000 pictures per day. That camera can go, instead of just 5 pictures a second, like my film cameras and my previous digital cameras, This camera can go up to 22 pictures a second, which is overkill.
Jeez.
But yeah, I had to edit, throw away a lot of redundant pictures saying I got tons of great shots. This is a perfect shot, but I got to get a lot of these out of the way. But anyway, so it was a dream to work without a blimp camera silencer.
Yeah.
But what else? What else can you ask?
Well, unfortunately, we are just about hitting our usual time limit for an episode, but it's been absolutely awesome talking to you, Bruce. I think I can speak for Paul as well. We definitely want to get you back on as often as possible. Yeah, thank you very much for tonight. It's been awesome. Paul.
All right. Well, no, I enjoyed it, and I saw some previous shows that you've done, so that inspired me to say this should be a very worthwhile project to be involved in. So I thank you for inviting me.
No, thank you.